Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 11 and we are going to present about two security tools, which is first one is Web Application Attack and Audit Framework, and the second one is Security Onion. We will start with the first security tool, which is Web Application Attack and Audit Framework. Okay, the first one is Web Application Attack and Audit Framework. This security tools is conducted by me, Nur Fatimah binti Mahsudin, and Muhammad Hasif Nabil bin Muhammad Helmi. So, Web Application Attack and Audit Framework is an open source scanner for web application security. It provides vulnerability scanning and exploitation tools for web applications and gives information on security vulnerabilities and assists penetration testing effort. This tool comes in two choices where user can choose either to use the tool in graphic user interface, GUI, or command line interface, CLI. We find it these security tools most vulnerability from web application using more than 130 plugins. For example, line SQL injection, PHP remote file inclusion, cross-site scripting, OS commanding, and unsafe file uploads. This is exploited after identification in order to gain access to the remote system in different types of ways. So the background of these security tools is it performs black box web application scanning by identifying all links, query string parameters, and forms, and will send crafted strings specifically to each input. And the output is analyzed before a report is generated using findings. The security tools framework is divided into three main sections. The first one is the core, that is coordinates the whole process and used in plugins to provide libraries. The second one is user interfaces that allowing user to configure and scan. The last one is the plugins, the one that find links and vulnerabilities. These security tools can be configured using two different settings, which is the first setting, global configuration, that is capable of changing the course behavior. It's split into two settings, that is the HTTP setting and MISC setting. The second configuration is plugin configuration, one that have configuration parameters that has a default value being set. This application should be handled with care by reading the setting help for better understanding to avoid unnecessary failure. So the advantages of using web application attack and audit framework software is user can save the changes on the configuration setting using the user profile, and user can perform multiple times of scanning as well as run them in different configuration, and it can be done easily within the user interface to create, save, and load profiles. For the installation, Mama Hasif will explain further.
Okay, thank you, Aisha. Thank you, Fatima. The installation process of W3AF GUI starts at the setup wizard. So the setup is pretty basic. And okay, next. Okay. And as you can see, we're choosing the destination folder. Okay, next. Next. So after we've done installing the W3AF GUI, you can see the process of the GUI takes a little time, but it's not that long. So after that, the GUI would start by itself. Continue. This is the main page of W3AF. As you can see, there are several plugins or functions which are Audit, Brute Force, Discovery, Evasion, Grasp, and Mangle. We're going to demonstrate two of the plugins, which is Audit and Brute Force. So firstly, as we click the new button, we have to give a name and description of the new profile. So as you can see, we start with project 001 for the new profile. Continue. Okay. We've chosen, you can choose any URLs and websites for the target, but we chose UTAM's ULearn website for network security admin and administration, admin and management. We're demonstrating Audit and Brute Force plugins for this demonstration. Continue. Okay, as described below, Audit plugins is for the use of on remote web application and web server, and Brute Force is described on the previous slide. So continue. Okay. After we click the start button, the process would take a few minutes depending on the weight of the website. So for ULearn, it doesn't take that much of a time. So the audit process is running to find vulnerabilities and any malwares on the URL. Okay, continue. Oh, okay. The result for the brute force and audit of the ULearn is very clean. There is no malwares or any vulnerabilities in the website. There are only two error messages, which are the process took a little long than they've expected, but that doesn't really matter in this case. So the next demonstration is infrastructure wizard. It is to perform an automatic scan. We've chosen the same website, UTAM's ULearn website for NSAM, and the setup is pretty basic, and it would save in our files in the computer. Continue. Okay, so this is for plugin selections. We've chosen all of the plugins to detect active filters, IPS, WAF, layer 7 firewalls, detect proxies, fingerprint web applications, HTTP. Okay, so those are all that are available. Continue. Plugins for remote web server. We've also chosen all of the available services. Okay. Okay. Continue. Yeah, so this is the name of the file we've saved and the description. So this is all for the setup wizard, infrastructure wizard setup. And continue to the next slide. There are other advanced functions that are available in the GUI W3AF. So these are some of them. These are the exploit page, and the next is fuzzy request function, which requires multiple URLs to be audited. Okay, continue. Okay, there are URL encoding and decoding, and lastly, proxy function. So these are all that are available in W3AF. So thank you very much.
Okay, so that is the first security tools and organization. Next is security onion. This will be explained by the other members, which is Aisyah binti Ismail and Nurul Najwa binti Sa'ad.
To the Fatima and Hasif. Okay, my name is Nurul Najwa binti Sa'ad and my friend Aisyah binti Ismail. Okay, today we will present about the security onion. For the introduction, it is open platform for enterprise security monitoring (ESM) and network security monitoring (NSM). NSM produce intelligent, contact, and situational understanding of your network. ESM take NSM to the next level and involve other telemetry and endpoint visibility from the enterprise. Security onion can be used to observe or monitor node or sub traffic to detect an adversary entering environment, establish command and control C2 or perhaps data exfiltration. It can exploit log from server and workstation, so then we get tracked across all network and host log at the same time. In terms of network visibility, security onion smoothly integrate intrusion detection, network metadata, and full packet. So next, for the background, by monitoring your network traffic and looking for certain fingerprint and identifier that match non-malicious errand on otherwise suspicious activity, Security Onion provide an IDS warning that are also described as signature-based detection, in contrast to signature-based intrusion detection, which hunt for specific hidden in a haystack of data. Network metadata give record of connection and standard protocols such as DNS, HTTP, FTP, SMTP, SSH, and SSL. Security Onion deliver network metadata via SIP or Surikata. For the full packet capture, it is similar to the tag record for network, but it can tell us not just who arrived and when, but also where they are went and what they are carrying or took with them. Exploit, download, phishing email, file exfiltration. So for the advantage, it was produced the NIDS caution by keeping track of network traffic and focusing on specific fingerprint identifier that are malicious. Network metadata produces the log of relation and standard protocol like HTTP, DNS, FTP, SSH, SMTP, and SSL. This deliver an actual depth and visibility into the environment of data and event of network. Full packet can inform the user who come and when, but also where they went and what they did. Phishing, email, and exploit payload. So the security setup wizard permit the user to simplify, configure the installation scenario to suit their need. So next, we pass to the Aisyah.
Okay. For the installation guide of Security Onion, for the first step, we need to download Security Onion from the link that show in the slide and check the integrity file using the signature file. For the step 2, before that we need to fulfill the hardware requirement of Security Onion when to set up in VirtualBox. Okay, step 2, we need to start the installation and click the enter. Okay, next. Okay, for the step 3, click the install Security Onion 6004 and then choose the language. For the step 4, in the installation start, we need to choose the first source and click the install now. For the steps 5, we need to choose the region. Choose the region, and for the step 6, we need to fill fill in the information for the installation part. Information of our name, computer name and username, password and that required at the form. Okay, next. Next. Okay, for the step 7, we need to type the command same as below in the terminal. Okay, and then for the step 8, we need to wait for a few seconds for copying the files in the installation part until it complete. And next. Okay, for the step 9, below show that installation has been complete. So we need to the next step is step 10, which is below shows the security onion setup, and we need to click the yes continue. And then for the step 11, we need to choose the network interface for management interface. That need to yes, for the step next. Okay, for the step 12, we need to enter the static IP address for management interface and click OK. And then for the step 13, window show that the network configuration is complete. Means we go to the step 14, which is create the user account. And after that, for the step 15, we need to wait for the offset application. And lastly, the security onion is now complete. Okay, next. Okay, that's all for our both for the security onion. Thank you.